poem 2.3 There is Another Sky by Emily Dickinson. The A1 question is, imagine your younger sister is not paying attention to her studies and is seen wasting time playing games on her cell phone. Suggest some ways that will help her to concentrate on her studies and overcome her bad habit. Nowadays, this is a very common thing. This is a very common between all the youngsters nowadays, that most of the time, or you can say almost all the time, they are seen wasting their time on the cell phones. Now, I will tell her importance of the studies. The use of cell phones is for two things. First is the communication and other for entertainment. Now, I can tell her that she could divide her study time and leisure time. Means one time she could, for some time, she could study on her phone. On the other, she could just use it for little bit of relieving time. After finishing her daily classwork and revision, she can spend some time on the cell phone. So I could give her the cell phone to enjoy for a little time or take a break from after long study sessions. Instead of wasting time on a cell phone playing games or the internet, surfing the internet or the social media, she could use it for developing her skills using apps of spoken English and personality development. Maybe play quiz games to improve her general knowledge and also some of the games to improve her memory. The second one is, you have noticed that many of your classmates. Now let us see the second sub question. You have noticed that many of your classmates are not interested in outdoor games or participating in the co-curricular activities. Discuss some ways in which they will be encouraged to participate in these activities. It is now been a big, common problem almost everywhere, even in the schools and colleges, that most of the children are seeing wasting their time on the mobile phones. Okay, but they are least interested in the outdoor games or in the co-curricular activities that a particular institution takes. So we have to discuss some ways in which they will be encouraged to participate in these activities. So what shall we do? So you can do that. I will tell them the importance of attending school or college is not just to score good marks, but also for the all-round development of a particular student or child. The institution also focuses on the co-curricular activities as to make the students more confident in both attitude as well as life. So the co-curricular activities actually, they enhance your qualities. Okay, these are not just for you don't go to a school or a college for just to get good marks. There are many other activities which you are interested. I will tell them about the types of games played and competitions the institution organizes, which are the athletics, annual athletics or the cricket championship, football championship or volleyball competitions, which are held on both district and state level. The annual competitions help us to showcase our inner artistic skills such as our drawing skill, painting, dancing, singing, the choreography, that is not just dancing but to choreograph, to arrange a particular dance, or direction, acting and script writing. Direction is whatever play, short plays or one act plays which are taken in a particular institution, you could direct them. Okay, instead of you are not interested in acting, you could make people do the acting for you. Script writing means writing that particular one act play or the dialogues. Then screenplay is there, and finally the management. There must be somebody who could organize all those things, help that person to manage it properly. The institute also goes to trekking and educational tours to be able to explore and enjoy life. So everything cannot be learned inside the college or the school. There are some things which the person has to learn outside. They also organize blood donation camps and environment protection camps to make you a better part of the society. So the next is A2, that is the first one. Discuss with your partner and complete the web highlighting the sad and gloomy aspects of life mentioned in the first part of the poem. So we have read the poem, and yes, in the beginning, the first part of the poem is very sad and gloomy. So which aspects of life are explained? The first is darkness, isolation and silence. These are the three things which are mostly explained in the first part of the poem. Now the second point in that second sub question, the poem encourages her brother in the second part of the poem. The poetess encourages her brother in the second part of the poem by telling him about the brightest side of life. Discuss with your partner and make a list of the expressions in the poem that mean encouragement. Now she tries to encourage her brother using some expressions. We have to find those out. The first one is given to you, brighter garden. Okay, this is the first expression. Second is unfading flowers, means fresh flowers. And hum of the bride bees. So the humming of the bride bees actually shows the happiness is there where around the poetess garden or poetess's home. Now the third sub question. The poet has described two different shades of human feelings by using imagery of various forces of nature in the poem. Okay, she has tried to describe two shades. First is the happiness and second is the sad, gloomy things. Pick out the terms or phrases that describe them. Complete the table given below. One is done for you. So this one particular is given for you. We have to just show the second one. Okay. The nature is given faded forest, feeling sad and gloomy. Nature, silent field. Again it shows isolation and loneliness in one's life. Next is sunshine. So in nature, if you have anything related to sunshine, it will always be related with hope. Now the fourth question here, the poem expresses feelings of serenity. Serenity here means happiness. Pick out expressions from the above poem that express the same. You have to find the same lines which express serenity or happiness. From the lines of the poem, there is another sky, fair, serene and fair. Okay, this is serene. Fair, serene means happy. Okay, it means very happy. Okay, then here is a little forest whose leaf is evergreen. Okay, here is a little forest here means the happy place and whose leaf is evergreen. Evergreen means there is always happiness at this particular place. Here is a brighter garden in its unfading flowers. So a brighter garden means a very happy garden, a happy home where there are fresh flowers. Unfading flowers means fresh flowers, and fresh flowers is related with the happiness there. The next one, fifth, compare and contrast the opposite human feelings as expressed by the poet. Now we have to show those two, we have to compare those two feelings, the first feeling of happiness and the second feeling of unhappiness. Okay, we have to compare it. See, the poetess describes the garden there where her brother is to be filled with darkness and isolation. This there is actually that place where her brother is studying. Austin is studying in Boston. So that particular place, because his brother is not happy, is now unhappy at that place. So it is filled with darkness and isolation. The darkness and isolation is the condition of his mind at present. So this darkness and isolation are both the places as well as his mind. This is the condition of his mind. He feels lonely, he feels dull, he feels it's filled with darkness and isolation. Thus she calls the garden as faded forest and silent fields. So this is what she is trying to tell, that this faded forest and silent fields are not actually places but the condition of his mind and the place where he lives. While the other places are bright and colorful, which show happiness and pleasant environment, like the poetess home herself. Okay. The next one, the A3 activity. Never mind faded forest, Austin. The words faded means to become dim or faint. The word describes the forests that have become faint or dim in appearance. Now go through the poem again and complete the table. We have to complete this particular table. So the describing word is given faded, object related with faded is forest, and explanation. The forest have become faint or dim in appearance. The next word is silent, object fields, and the explanation, the place is silent and lonely. Unfading are the flowers. The flowers are fresh and very colorful. Next word is bright, object is bees. The bees hum around the flowers. This is used in the poem. The poem is an example of a Petrarchan sonnet which consists of 14 lines with an octave that are 8 and sestet 6 lines in structure. Now the poetess has used the slant rhyme in the poem. The language is simple but effective. There are a number of poetic devices, but metaphor, alliteration and hyperbole are used distinctively. So in metaphor we can see here is a little forest, which means the poetess's home. And come into my garden, the second last line which he uses for her brother, pity my Austin, come into my garden. That also means the poetess's home. Next is the alliteration. Never mind faded forest, bright bee hum. The consonant sounds F and B are repeated twice. Next is hyperbole. There is another sky, ever serene and fair. The line is over exaggeration of the describing of a place, and no place is permanently serene. The things and places do change. Next are the special features. The poetess has used the slant rhyme to get the effect of a rhythm in the poem. She has also used the poetic devices equally, metaphor and hyperbole. Now, the messages, values, or morals in the poem. The poem tells us about having a positive attitude towards life. We should never give up easily on small failures in life, but look forward for a better future and hope. So, finally, your opinion of the poem. I like the message of the poem to never give up on small failures, but to keep progressing and always be hopeful in life. So, this is all for today's lecture.